सर आ गए।
सौरभ करा
क्या बोलना करूँगा साउंड सर साउंड कर रहा है। सर कह रहे साउंड आ रही है। साउंड कर रहे हैं सर। चेक कर। हाँ कहाँ यहाँ पे आते वीडियो रुकी भी सर।
हो गया नहीं
The team which is taking care of the live telecast kindly be ready. And I request all the participants of drama team to kindly come backstage.
मैम लाइव है
जल्दी स्टार्ट करनी
रिफ्रेश कर दें।
माटी से ही जन्म हुआ है, माटी में ही मिल जाना है।
धरती से ही जीवन अपना, धरती पर ही सजे सपना।
सब जीव जंतु धरती पर रहते, गंगा यमुना यहीं पर बहते।
सब्जी फल यहाँ ही उगते, धन फसल यहीं पर उपजे।
धरती माँ की देख रेख कर हमको फर्ज निभाना है, हमको फर्ज निभाना है। Keeping this beautiful message in our mind, a very precious good afternoon to all present over here. We are really honored to have Honourable Vice Chancellor of GBU, Professor R.K. Sinha sir, our expert speaker for today, Dr. Trilochan Singh sir, Dr. Sushil Kumar sir from GBU. We would like to welcome them on behalf of GLBCRI. We would also like to welcome Mr. Kartik Agrawal sir, Director sir, all the HoDs of respective department, our faculty member and students.
Now I extend my warm greetings to our Mentor-Mentee Institute who all are connected with us live on YouTube. Firstly, I would like to wish them a very happy World Earth Day. Our Mentor-Mentee Institutes are BBTITM Lucknow, Delhi Institute of Advanced Studies, Jaipuria Institute of Management Ghaziabad, Krishna Engineering College, Kuwait Satyavira College of Engineering. I request all the viewers who all are connected with us live on YouTube to kindly be alert and attentive in the chat box, as our technical teams will be sharing the feedback form and attendance sheet in between the event, and this form will be only active for a particular period of time. So I request all the viewers to kindly be active and fill the form and mark your presence so that we can send you an e-certificate for this event. I, Mairakshi,
and I, Aditi, are highly overwhelmed to get this opportunity to address you all on behalf of whole GLB family. a very prosperous occasion of the World Earth Day.
Earth. Earth is a source of life, source for diversity of species. Our planet is an amazing place, but it needs our help.
So on the occasion of Earth Day, we all are gathered here to celebrate our day, that is Earth Day. The flame of diya or lamp reminds us the light ultimately overcome over darkness.
We request our Honourable Chief Guest Professor R.K. Sinha Sir, Vice Chancellor GBU, our expert speaker of the day Dr. Trilochan Singh, Earth Scientist, Honourable Director Sir, Kartik Sir, all HoDs and our faculty members to kindly come on the stage and light the lamp of hope, faith and belief. Now I request Kartik Sir to kindly welcome our chief guest, Professor R.K. Sinha Sir. Now I request Director Sir to kindly welcome our expert speaker of the day, Trilochan Sir. Now I request Director Sir to kindly welcome Kartik Agarwal Sir. Request Director Sir to kindly welcome Sushil Sir from GBU.
Thank you so much, sir. The wealth of the nation is in its air, water, soil, minerals, river, lake, ocean, wild habitats and its biodiversity.
Earth Day should encourage us to reflect on what we are doing to make our planet Earth more sustainable and more livable place.
Now, I would like to request our Honourable Director Sir Dr. Rajiv Agrawal to kindly come on stage and enlighten us with his precious words.
Good afternoon to all present. First of all, on behalf of the Institute, I welcome the chief guest of this session, Professor R.K. Sinha, Honourable Vice Chancellor, Hon'ble University of GBU. It's really a privilege and honor that Sir has visited this campus. And as far as his introduction is concerned, I do not say much about it because he is a wonderful researcher, academician, and a very good administrator. So I really welcome you in this campus, sir. Second, we have as an expert or a speaker, Dr. Trilochan Singh ji, who is an earth scientist. I also welcome you to this beautiful campus. Then we have Dr. Sushil Kumar from GBU. I, sir, welcome you on this institute. So we have gathered here on this occasion, which we call it as a Earth Day. But I think as an engineer, as a scientist, protecting the earth will become very, very, what we say it as a challenging issue for us, and which we are witnessing in the month of April. So if we go back and see what is the normal temperature in the April, we'll be finding that it was not so hot. So I think this is the issue which we have to understand. And in the coming days, the scarcity of the water, the firing of jungles, I think that's how our earth is deteriorating. And I think human is the only person who has deteriorated it, and we are the only person who can protect this. I think this is the main theme of this Earth Day. And I understand that this is not a duty of a engineers, this is not only duty of a scientist, it's a duty of all the human beings to protect their earth. And this is the main aim of doing this type of a sensitization or awareness. I'm not saying this as a celebration function, I think this is a more awareness function where the student and all the members should understand that we have to protect earth. If the earth is not there, we will not survive. And you already know that this is only planet where the availability of the water is there. And the scientists and everybody is exploring the planet where we find the life. And I think water is one of the more important source where the human lives can be there. So with this thought, we had a very wonderful researchers, people who understand this theory, who understand this genesis very well. They'll guide us, they'll sensitize us, they give the guidelines to our students, and I hope with their approach of engineering and applications, they come up with the solutions by which we can protect our Mother Earth. With this thought, I once again welcome our chief guest, our expert, Professor Sanyal, all the head of department, Mr. Karthik, all the faculty members and the students, right? So thank you all, and I welcome once again all.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving us such a wonderful message that this is not the time of celebration, but the time of awareness. Thank you so much, sir.
As Sir said, it's more than celebration, it's about awareness. To leave the world better, you have to sometime found out other people thrash. Now, I cordially invite our expert speaker of the day, Dr. Trilochan Singh, sir.
A professional scientist in the field of geology, serving the nation and humanity. Remained scientist with Wadia Institute of Himalayan Geology. He has retired from the government services at the post of Scientist G in Feb 2008. Thank you so much, sir, for coming here.
Good afternoon, everybody, and greetings of the Earth Day to one and all sitting in this audience. First of all, before I start, I would like to thank the authorities of this institute for inviting me on this occasion. I would like to share some of my knowledge on this Earth Day with you all. Well, I'll be speaking on the natural resources of the earth. Although these may be very, very simple, and most of you may be knowing already what I would be speaking, but why I have chosen? Because this is the base of all the things that we talk about. We often say to protect our earth. Everybody is saying we must protect our earth. But how? And to what? So this is what I have tried to touch in my speak this afternoon. So don't think that I am talking very, very primitive things, but these are very important. If you grasp in that, it will help you in protecting our earth. Well, time is limited, so I won't go much in detail. We'll talk about what are the natural resources, type of natural resources, and how we should exploit for sustainable use, and most importantly, the conservation and management that leads to protect our earth. Is it okay? My sound is okay on the back side? Okay. Now, you see, what we say the resource. Anything which is required for surviving or to improve our quality of life is called a resource. And these resources come from the nature, such as air, water, land. So hence we call them natural resources. You see, need of these natural resources have always felt ever since the human has evolved on the earth in the prehistoric time. In ancient times, our ancestors used to live in jungle and later started life in caves to protect themselves from extreme weather and wild animals. Since food was the basic need, they survived on the fruits, plants, roots, and animals by killing them for their food. Subsequently, they started covering their bodies with the tree leaves and animal skin, and gradually, as the need arises, they discovered various sources to make their life better. Early human beings extracted various natural sources from the earth for food, shelter, tools, and other amenities of their life, and natural sources are thus directly linked with humanity from the ancient time. Now, our earth is a huge storehouse of various resources which are required in our day-to-day life. It holds air, water, soil, plants, animals, and many natural materials, and such material are now called as natural resources. And we use a variety of natural resources every day for our day-to-day life. Some resources are essential for survival, whereas some are required for the need and desire of the mankind. Thus, the value of natural resources depends upon the amount of the substances available and its requirement by the mankind. So, even natural resources form the backbone of economy and development of any nation. Any substance is considered a natural resource only when it is found in nature or extracted or purified and is not created. Say for example, a pearl. When extracted from the shell, it is a natural resource. But when it is produced in the laboratory, it is not considered as a natural resource. So that is the main thing, that it should be available in the nature. So similarly, plants, trees that are found in forest are natural resources, but when plants are cultivated or produced from agriculture are not considered as the natural resource. So we categorize the natural resources into three: the renewable, non-renewable, and non-exhaustible. So let's see one by one. Renewable natural resources are those which are constantly available or can be replenished by themselves in a short period of time, such as forests, animals, microorganisms, etc. Even renewable natural resources can be grown again and replaced within the lifespan of a generation, and thus never run out. there are some renewable resources which takes a long time to grow or replace. Such renewable resources may be diminished or eventually may die out if these are used up at a much faster rate than the time taken for their replacement. Say, for example, forests, wildlife, biomass, etc. Animals, though considered as renewable resources, yet some of the endangered species can also be considered as non-renewable, which are at the merge of extent. Non-renewable resources exist in the nature in the fixed amount and cannot be regenerated or replaced at the rate at which these are consumed, such as coal, oil and gas, oil and natural gas, gold, lead, zinc, etc. And these are also known as exhaustible resources because once they are used, they cannot be replaced within their lifespan. So non-renewable resources are found both on the earth's surface as well as within the surface. The quantity of such sources are fixed and are considered as non-living things. Soil and fossil fuel such as coal, oil and natural gas are though reproducible, yet these are characterized under the non-renewable resources because these take millions of years to be formed. You may be surprised that a mineral-rich topsoil takes 1,000 to 50,000 years to form of this mineral-rich soil. Now, the non-exhaustible resources are those which can last forever irrespective of the human activities such as air, water and sunlight. Although these resources renew at its own continuously in the nature, these can however be deteriorated, degraded, polluted by the human activities, which then becomes harmful. Now you remember we say protect our earth. These are the resources which we need to protect. Now coming to the type of natural sources. We divide natural resources into the georesources, then we have the hydro resources, then we have the bioresources, and then we have the atmospheric resources. Let's see one by one. Land is one of the most important natural resources. It covers nearly 30% of the total area of the Earth's surface. It includes rugged topography, mountain, low-lying area, desert, thick forests, etc. And these are used for different purposes, to which we call as land use. So this is the first point, that land conservation. Ability of the land is limited, whereas demand of the people is increasing. It causes large-scale destruction of the forest cover and are led to land degradation. Landslides, soil erosion, desertification are some of the major threats because of the expansion of agriculture and constructional activities. Therefore, the present rate of degradation of land resources must be checked. Afforestation, land reclamation, regulated use of chemical pesticide and fertilizers are some of the common used to conserve land. Limited resources of non-renewable minerals and fossil fuel with growing consumption is also a matter of concern that necessitates conservation of this natural resource. Well, soil has remained a source of living for human beings and animals. It also supports and nourishes plant kingdom and thus classified as a basic natural resource. Soil forms a part of the Earth's surface and is formed by the long-term processes of complex interaction of climate, topography, biological factors through weathering of the parent rock, and the time is the main factor. When we talk about the soil degradation, the factors that lead to degradation are deforestation, overgrazing, overuse of chemical fertilizers and pesticides, rainwash, landslides and floods. As such, erosion and depletion are the common threat to soil as a resource. And conservative measures are mulching, then we have the intercropping or crop rotation, and the nitrogen fixing. Then we have the contour barrier, then we can have terrace forming, and then we have the shelter belt. These are the points where we can conserve this soil. Now next is the mineral resources. Now there are different minerals, so the metallic, then we have non-metallic minerals, and then we have the fossil fuel minerals. Nearly all the products that we need to make our life comfortable are made from these mineral sources. All products used at home, at play and at work comes from the earth. Food, water supply, clothing, health aids, all depend on the mineral resources. There are products in the kitchen and on the dining table, such as refrigerator, etc., all are made from minerals. Our food supply depends on minerals and energy sources. Farming starts with seed in the ground and ends with the food for us to eat. So plants directly give us fruits and vegetables, and indirect means comes from the animals that supply dairy products and meat. And growing plants get food from the minerals in the soil. Fertilizers such as potash, nitrogen, sulfur are all minerals. Thus, mineral resources form the basis of industrial development and improvement of lifestyle of the mankind. Entire mankind largely depends on the mineral resources, where minerals play an important role in day-to-day life of the human being. You will be surprised to know that there are 33 minerals and elements to make a computer. I won't go into detail it, but it is a fact. Likewise, when you make your home, various minerals are used in the construction of houses and other buildings. And the concrete foundation of the buildings are made of sand, gravel, cement and steel rod. All these involve various minerals. If we look into that, we have various minerals in foundation and sidewalk, in roof, then in exterior wall, then in the gutters and the timbers in the wall, roof and floor are fastened, and the insulation in the wall. I am not going to detail in this, but there are various, these things are used from the minerals. Like interior walls are used, wallboard made of gypsum, windows are made of the glass, which include silica and sand and feldspar, then the door knobs and the lock include copper, zinc, iron ore and alloys. Likewise, plumbing fixtures have with different minerals. Toilet sinks and bath tubes are made of clay and iron and plastics, like sewer system also. Then we have the fireplace, then we have the carpet, even made of synthetic fiber, and the back is filled with the limestone. Likewise, if the house is painted, paint is manufactured from the minerals, fillers and pigments. Electric wiring, we use copper and aluminum, all are minerals. And finally, when we mortgage, our rental contract is made on the paper, and in the paper, the fiber is filled with the clay and other minerals to determine the color and texture. So you see, everywhere, either in the house or in the offices, we are using the minerals. We are not aware. Likewise, so everything we use in the daily life comes from the mineral resources. Then another natural resource is the places of nature's scenic beauty. You see, the nature's scenic beauty is one of the natural resources which is being utilized in every country in form of tourism industry. It has been very successful, and more virgin areas are being developed to fetch a sound economy. Mountains have always remained a source of curiosity and adventure for the mankind since the time immemorial, but it was never classified as a resource. But people are suffering from day-to-day mechanized life and heavy mental pressure of workload, and due to excessive urbanization and industrialization, the people, particularly from the urban areas, now look forward for an opportunity to visit hilly regions from time to time for peace, tranquility and entertainment. Likewise, many people like to visit mountains. They go to beaches, deserts, which are the nature's gift to the mankind. Such unique scenic beauty places have developed as a fast-growing natural resource-based activity in the form of tourism. Now, next is the bioresources. Bioresources are those natural resources which are consumed by the human being for the need and pride, like forest and timber. Forests are the main source for survival of the mankind in the ancient time, as already mentioned you. Even today, there are many local tribal communities who have the forest as one of the resources for their existence and subsistence. In addition, the forest harbor timber yielding trees, non-timber forest products, which includes medicinal plants and wild ornamental plants. Even the forest harbor wildlife, maintains ecology, balance, control, wind force, etc. So thus, it plays a major role in enhancing the quality of environment and also influence in the local climate. Then we have the non-timber products. The forest also rich in the non-timber forest produce, which are extracted from the roots, stem, plants, etc. And based on the end products, the non-timber products are classified into the bamboo, cane and grasses, resin, wax, gum, resin, medicinal plants. Medicinal plants are used in our traditional Ayurveda. Then we have more than 15,000 medicinal plant species, out of which 500 are used in the drug plantation. Then we have the spices, edible plants. We have the oil seeds, tan, dye, etc. Fiber and flosses are also the non-timber products. Then we have the orchid, which are not only gives the beauty but also symbolizes sanctity, divinity, love. So non-timber forest products have a vast scope of commercial exploitation. These are highly valuable as easily available produce do not require high technology for value addition. Now coming to the wildlife, this is another natural source. The wildlife is an integral part of the ecosystem and is a source of livelihood. It not only provides useful products but also helps to preserve biodiversity and maintain ecological balance of nature and natural cycle of food chain. Wildlife is a valuable resource. These include animal, birds, insects. Wildlife provide us milk, meat, wool. The birds feed on insects. Insects like bees provide honey and help in flower pollination. And we have the animals, big or small, are all integral to maintaining balance in the ecosystem. A large number of birds and animals are in danger of getting extinct or on the verge of extinction. These are called endangered species. Other than these, there are many species. They are classified as vulnerable species or rare species. If you see, the endangered species are those which are in the danger of getting extinct. Then we have the vulnerable species which are abundant population, but their habitat is adversely affected and may become endangered in near future. And rare species are those whose population is already very thin because of their natural reproduction. So if we talk about the conservation of the wildlife, it is very much important to conserve and maintain diversity and integrity of natural heritage in the full form, that is the physical environment, the flora and the fauna, and to promote research on the ecological conservation and other aspects of environmental preservation, then to regulate over-exploitation of the forest product, and to provide facilitation for education and awareness and training, which we are talking about since morning, and to establish natural parks and sanctuaries to protect wildlife. So initiatives have been taken in this direction. Wildlife sanctuaries, national parks and bioreserves are all set up at different places. Now coming to microorganism, another resource. It exists in the atmosphere, land, sea and even in the animals and plants. These include fungi, bacteria, viruses, etc. Some of the benefits that includes are saprophytic bacteria and fungi, which are responsible for the decomposition of the plants and animals into the simpler products, thereby maintaining ecological balance. And some of the microorganisms also help in photosynthesis, and a large number of microorganisms are known as the beneficial characters like fermentation and are commonly employed for the benefit of the man. And secondly, natural fixation of nitrogen as a symbiotic and non-symbiotic bacteria, and large number of microorganisms are used to manufacture acids, vaccines, medicines, etc. And there is a balance in the environment if the relative number of species is not disturbed. Now next is the hydro resource. Water has remained a basic human need from the ancient civilization. As such, most of the ancient civilizations were located on the river banks to ensure regular supply of water for day-to-day activity. So what is a vital renewable natural resource? It is a lifeline not only for human beings, but also for all living beings such as plants, etc. And about 3/4 of the earth's surface is covered with water. And it is found as groundwater, as surface water in the rivers and lakes, and water vapor in the atmosphere. When we talk about the surface water, there is enough surface water, but fresh water amounts only 2.7% only. And this water source is primarily utilized for drinking and irrigation purposes. It is being effectively converted into development of inland water transport system in many of the states, which is a cheap transportation mode. Then we have the groundwater. It is the water that seeps through the rocks and soil and is stored below the ground. The rocks in which groundwater is stored are called aquifers. Groundwater is the main source of drinking water as well as agriculture and industrial use. It is an integral part of the hydrological cycle and thus largely depends on the rainfall and precipitation. Nearly 2% of the earth's water is groundwater. So considering the shortage of water, the water harvesting structures technology is being promoted to conserve water. And simultaneously there is water scarcity also. There is enormous water wealth which is available in form of surface and groundwater, but population increase and expansion of industry has increased the water demand over the years that has led to the water scarcity. Further, deforestation has also reduced surface infiltration as well as the surface runoff. So quality of water is also affected severely due to contamination of the surface water, and the common contaminants include arsenic, fluoride, nitrate and iron, and these also include bacteria, phosphate and heavy metals that contaminate the water. So when we talk about the water conservation, as the water is used for irrigating fields, so canals should be properly lined to minimize loss of water seepage. Likewise, sprinkler may be used to irrigate the area. It helps to check water loss through seepage or evaporation. And in the dry region with the high rate of evaporation, drips or trickle irrigation is very useful. Then water pollution can be controlled by treating the effluents suitably before releasing them in the water bodies. Likewise, dams and reservoirs may be built to store water. Now coming to the atmospheric resources, human has been blessed with atmospheric resources that provide the basis of life on the earth. These include air, rain, sunlight, heat. When we talk of heat, that means atmospheric temperature. So air is an important and vital resource, natural resource, essential for any living being. Air is not uniform throughout the atmosphere. Its density reduces gradually with the altitude. And the composition of the air varies with different layer of atmosphere. It has nitrogen, oxygen and carbon dioxide at the surface of the earth. Of these, oxygen is directly responsible for life of living being on the earth. Then we have the rain. It forms the part of the atmospheric weather cycle and is responsible for varying ecosystem on the earth. It provides water to drink as well as it recharges the subsurface water. It helps to grow vegetation and agriculture crops, and farmers consider rain as the nature gift that facilitates them to harvest crops. They look forward for this gift, particularly during the drought conditions. The another resource is the sunlight. It is the renewable natural resource that provides light, heat and energy. It is the prominent source of natural light for the human being on the earth. It also gives us a source of vitamin D, particularly D3 for the human being. Sunlight is also utmost importance and integral part of the plant life, where leaves absorb sunlight for photosynthesis process that produces energy for the growth of plants. It also governs soil fertility, hydrological cycle and many other abiotic and biotic parameters of the earth system. The sunlight is being used as the solar energy also. It provides heat to regulate the environment around the human being. Now coming to development, exploitation and sustainable use of natural resources. The natural resources which are directly and indirectly utilized are important for livelihood of the human society. Hence, these resources must be protected and suitably managed. Initially, the mankind used natural resources to fulfill its basic needs. Subsequently, with the advancement in science and technology, mankind started manipulating the resources for their higher orders of need and greed. It resulted into environmental and ecological problems. While the land resources and hydro resources in a particular geographical area are limited or fixed in quantity, the bioresources in the same area keep on varying in time and space with interference of the human activity. Human efforts and available resources may be put to use to obtain maximum gains. The society should have a positive attitude towards the nation and its economic development. For example, Japan is poor in natural resources base, but it is the only nation in Asia having the status of a developed country. On the other hand, African countries are plentiful of resources, yet these are economically poor. It means that the human attitude makes the nation develop rather than ability of the resources. Although resources are important, but it is more important how we use it. America is another example who look forward to have the best talent of the world to develop its natural resources. You see, that's why I define America as the best talent of the world is USA. So that is why America is the #1 country in the world as far as economic development and science and technology is concerned. Thus, need is to identify the priorities of resources utilization for socio-economic development. Natural resources or goods produced from these resources form the basis of the economy in developing the countries. It may be in form of minerals, oil and natural gas, forests, tourism, etc. Even the local trade is based on the niche resources. According to the OECD 2009, poor people livelihood is dependent on the natural resources, and they have identified 7 natural resources, and these are fisheries, soil productivity, forest, water security, minerals, renewable energy, and wildlife and nature-based tourism. These key resources with improved management can contribute to reduce the poverty. One of the fastest growing segment is the nature-based tourism, which may even provide employment and income generation opportunities. Over-exploitation of renewable resources may not only deplete the natural non-renewable ones, but also cause other adverse effects such as deforestation, desertification, extinction of species, forced migration, soil degradation, increase of greenhouse gas, water pollution, natural hazards, etc. Now we talk about the conservation of the natural resources, which is the most important because it indirectly helps to protect our earth. The exploitation of the natural resources is a key factor in economic growth and development. However, it can have serious negative environmental and socio-economic impacts if exploited unscientifically and unsystematically. It is often observed that certain resources are overexploited, whereas many others are not being able to utilize or are underutilized. This is also very important. For example, forest resources are overutilized, leading to environmental and ecological problems, whereas a variety of other resources, particularly minerals and water resources, are either underutilized or still in dormant stage in many of the states of the nation. The thumb rule for conservation may be the 3 R, that means reduce, recycle and reuse. So when we talk about the reduce, it means that using the limited natural resource and avoid wastage. For example, turn off the light when not in room, it will reduce the use of fossil fuel. Ride on bicycle to reduce the amount of fuel used in the transport vehicles. When we talk of the recycle, it means the items such as paper, plastic, glass, metal, etc. for making, may be used for making new things. The effort may be made to use the things which can be recycled. And reuse means using the items again and again. such as the plastic bottle that we use can be used for storing things in the kitchen. Likewise, the indigenous people knowledge is another aspect which has about medicinal plants which are growing much in the wild. The indigenous knowledge may prove to be invaluable for management and sustainable utilization of the natural resources. Hence, efforts may be made to document this knowledge, because in many of the tribal areas they have indigenous knowledge system, and this is very important to document them. Natural resources and hazard have already mentioned that over-exploitation has a serious impact on environment and natural hazards. On the other hand, man-made and natural hazards are such as deforestation, soil erosion, constructional activities, forest fire, tsunami, landslides also affect the natural resources to the great extent. It has been seen that natural disasters have both positive as well as negative impact on the natural resources. The positive impact is that flood improves soil fertility by transferring nutrients from the upland to the lowland, and temporarily creates a water habitat for fishes and other aquatic animals. The other is to improve moisture concentration, waste accumulation, water, and so and so. Likewise, drought results into the low fertility and increase the salt water intrusion. Pollution is the biggest enemy of the natural resources, particularly air and water. So waste disposal and garbage dumps in the roadside may all cause pollution that becomes a threat to the natural environment cycle. So when we talk of the management of the natural resources, natural resources are the heartline of any state or nation for its economic growth. It, however, depends upon the extent and intensity of utilization of these niche resources. Increased pressure of human interference for their needs have influenced the natural resources, causing environment degradation and imbalance and in development processes which have already reached to an alarming stage. Since the natural resources are unevenly distributed, there is a comprehensive need for proper inventory of the resources, and these resources must be used efficiently and with equal to ensure sustained growth. There are cases where a state is not able to reap its economic benefit in spite of being rich in natural resources. Arunachal Pradesh is one of the examples. In spite of being resource rich and having low population, economy of the state is very poor. Further exploitation must be done within the tolerable limits. For example, the Mathuri Hills have been over exploited, and which has caused drastic changes in the climatic conditions and increased landslides. After the intervention of the Honourable Supreme Court, the mining was totally banned, and subsequently a Green Brigade of the Indian Army was constituted to take up the mass afforestation program to restore the beauty. And here you can see the result, how it is before and it is after. It is by the Army Eco Task Force Battalion. So management of the natural resources is inherently complex. So there are dynamic and interrelated hence any change in one of the may have long-term impacts. As already mentioned, most of the natural resources are diminishing rapidly, not only due to the increasing pressure of growing population, but also their ruthless exploitation with passage of time. So there is a need to bring awareness among the people. Our director was already telling about that, it's mainly for awareness. So this is also, there is a need to bring awareness among the people to conserve resources and environmentally sustainable technologies. So it is possible through transfer of scientific knowledge about natural resources at the grassroots level, which requires a strong database. A considerable amount of data may be available in various departments, agencies, but quite likely it may show variance owing to their specific need and subjective nature. This data may be designed in such a way that it could cater the need of any user's agency as per their specific planning and development. Since development is a continuing process, therefore regular updating of the existing data is also equally important. A sound integrated area special database on natural resources and socio-economic parameters form the backbone of any developmental plan. Therefore, the database should be designed that adequate data is available to initiate investigations for a detailed study, it could supplement or modify the existing data. The data could be utilized by various departments and it could provide internal consistency to each sectoral planning. So, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India has launched a project on natural resources data management system in 1982, and various district database centers were set up for development of GIS-based database for design support in local planning. So these databases are working well in different districts. So concludingly, the man is dependent on the natural resources which forms the basis of national income. Natural resources not only form the heartline for development of the region, but also help to maintain the ecosystem. Natural resources are diminishing rapidly with the growing population and their ruthless exploitation. Non-renewable resources need attention, which are in the fixed quantity. Some renewable resources may also finish if overused, or may not be usable if polluted. And lastly, every human being, you should realize the importance of conserving natural resources and adopt suitable mitigation measures to preserve these resources. Well, I have tried to give you the hint about the various resources which needs attention for the conservation, which ultimately leads to the protect our Mother Earth. So happy Mother's Day once again to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for providing information about natural resources like air, water, soil, land, desire of mankind, renewable and non-renewable resources, and especially about 3R, reduce, reuse and recycle.
And thank you so much, sir, for telling us so deeply that we need to conserve our resources to protect our earth. Thank you so much, sir. प्रकृति जो मातृत्व और सुंदरता का प्रतीक है, प्रकृति जो कठोर ज्ञान देकर मीठी मुस्कान देती है, प्रकृति जो कभी कड़ी धूप तो कभी बारिश की बूंदें हैं,
प्रकृति जो कभी सुर तो कभी संगीत है, प्रकृति जो हमसे नहीं बल्कि हम जिससे है। आइए देखते हैं किस प्रकार मनुष्यों ने पृथ्वी के 5 तत्व जल, वायु, अग्नि, आकाश, पृथ्वी का शोषण किया। लेट्स वेलकम आवर ड्रामा टीम। As Earth is a very important part, we all live on it, so we should protect it. As it is said that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the next best time is today. So it is very important to plant a tree and save our Mother Earth.
So well said, Aditi.
ये ठंडी हवा, ये झुका आसमां, आइए लेकर चले आपको प्रकृति के यहाँ। होता है जहाँ 5 तत्वों का मिलन, आइए मिलकर करते हैं उस कुदरत को नमन।
मैं जल हूँ, जल है कुदरत का अभिन्न अंग, जल है कुदरत का अभिन्न अंग। इसके बिना कैसे करोगे पृथ्वी को रंग बिरंग? जल के बिना जीवन की कल्पना ही क्या, जल के बिना जीवन की कल्पना ही क्या। मैं न रहूं तो पियोगे क्या, मैं न रहूं तो पियोगे क्या।
मैं हवा हूँ, लहराते खेतों की, महकते कलियों की चमक हूँ मैं। लहराते खेतों की, महकते कलियों की चमक हूँ मैं। गर्मियों के तपते जग की ठंडी लहर हूँ मैं। गर्मियों के तपते जग की ठंडी लहर हूँ मैं। मिलूंगी मैं तुम्हें हर जगह, मिलूंगी मैं तुम्हें हर जगह। देख ना सकोगे तुम मुझे, देख ना सकोगे तुम मुझे, महसूस ही होंगी मैं तुम्हें।
मैं अग्नि हूँ, अपनाती हूँ मैं सबको कुछ इस तरह, अपनाती हूँ मैं सबको कुछ इस तरह। खो देती है वो खुद को मुझ में पूरी तरह। नहीं मिलेगा मुझ में अंश तुम्हारा, नहीं मिलेगा मुझ में अंश तुम्हारा। जब बनकर निकलूंगी मैं प्रचंड ज्वाला, प्रचंड ज्वाला।
आंखों से ना पढ़ सको वो ऊंचाइयां हूं मैं। आंखों से ना पढ़ सको वो ऊंचाइयां हूं मैं। छूकर भी ना छू सको वो गहराइयां हूं मैं। बरसती हुई बूंदों से, बरसती हुई बूंदों से बुझती धरा की प्यास हूं मैं। ऊंचे उड़ते पंछियों का आशिया हूं मैं। हाँ हाँ वही आकाश हूं मैं, हाँ हाँ वही आकाश हूं मैं।
भूमि हूँ, कोई कहता है मुझे धरा तो कोई कहता है मुझे धरती। मैं ना रही तो कहाँ बसाओगे तुम अपनी बस्ती। थक कर जब तुम अपने घर को आते हो, थक कर जब तुम अपने घर को आते हो, वो मेरी ही गोद है जहाँ तुम सुकून को पाते हो।
एक वह भी वक्त हुआ करता था जब पृथ्वी अपने पंच तत्वों के साथ खुश हुआ करती थी। आइए आप सभी को उस वक्त में लेके चलते हैं। माटी से ही जन्म हुआ, माटी में ही मिल जाना है। हमने प्रकृति से नाता तोड़ा, हवाओं में भी खूब जहर घोड़ा है और फैक्ट्रियों पर फैक्ट्री खोला है। इन पढ़े लिखे लोगों को कैसे समझाएं, इसी बात का तो गम है, इसी बात का तो गम है। कोरोना का जब पड़ा कहर, सांस लगी टूटने, हम अपनों को ऑक्सीजन रूपी दवा ना दे सके, ऑक्सीजन रूपी दवा ना दे सके। तरक्की दौलत के नशे में चूर है, हम प्रकृति से बहुत दूर हैं। आइए सुनते हैं प्रकृति की दास्तां, प्रकृति की जुबानी।
खुश थी धरती, खुश था समंदर, चहकती थी चिड़िया, बहता था समंदर। क्यों बदल गए हैं सारे नजारे, धरती अंबर चांद तारे। आइए दिखलाते हैं आपको मनुष्य के किए हुए दुष्कर्म सारे, दुष्कर्म सारे।
क्या हो गया, आप इतना उदास क्यों हो?
ये देखिए मनुष्यों ने क्या किया मेरा हाल। मत करो मुझको बर्बाद, इतना तो तुम रखो याद। प्यासे ही तुम रह जाओगे, मेरे बिना न जी पाओगे, मेरे बिना न जी पाओगे।
जिससे होता है मनुष्य का हर काम, देखिए उस जल का क्या कर दिया हाल, क्या कर दिया हाल।
क्या हो गया, आप भी क्यों उदास हो?
ये देखो मनुष्यों ने मेरी क्या दुर्गति कर दी है। वायु प्रदूषण ऐसे ही बढ़ेगा, तो आने वाले वक्त में हवा भी बिकने लगेगा। प्रदूषित हवाओं का असर दिखने लगा है, बाजारों में एयर प्यूरिफायर बिकने लगा है। स्वच्छ हवा सबको मिलेगा, पर उसके लिए पैसा लगेगा। सोचो हमने खुद का कितना नुकसान किया है, सोचो हमने खुद का कितना नुकसान किया है।
चलती है जिससे तेरे सांसों की माला, ऐ मनुष्य देख उस हवा का तूने क्या कर डाला, तूने क्या कर डाला।
नहीं, ये विकास नहीं, विनाश है चरम पर। उद्योग का यथार्थ नहीं, स्वार्थ है चरम पर। प्रगति का संकेत नहीं, प्रकृति का हास्य है। नहीं ये विज्ञान नहीं, अज्ञान है चरम पर। बेकसूर के साथ साथ वो निहत्या भी है। पेड़ों को काटना सच में जीव हत्या भी है, सच में जीव हत्या भी है।
क्या कभी अंबर से सूर्य निकलता है, क्या कभी दीपक जलता है, क्या कभी अंबर से सूर्य बिछड़ता है, क्या कभी दीपक जलता है। कैसी है अनहोनी छोड़ गया जो तू, कैसे जिएंगे हम, तू ही किनारा तू सहारा, तू जग सारा, तू ही हमारा सूरज तू ही तारा। जय जयकारा जय जयकारा, स्वामी देना साथ हमारा। जय
अभी आपने देखा कि मनुष्यों ने अपने दुष्कर्मों से पृथ्वी के सारे तत्वों, जल, वायु, अग्नि, आकाश, पृथ्वी को किस प्रकार नष्ट कर दिया है। इस पीड़ा के समय में पृथ्वी हमें कुछ कहना चाहती है। आइए सुनते हैं पृथ्वी हमसे क्या कहना चाहती है। मैं धरती माँ बोल रही हूँ, अग्रिम भावों की पीड़ा में मन के आंसू घोल रही हूँ। मैं धरती माँ बोल रही हूँ। मैंने सब कुछ होते देखा है, मैंने सब कुछ होते देखा है। इस अपराधों की दुनिया में पहाड़ों से मेरी नदियों को गायब होते देखा है। मैंने सब कुछ होते देखा है। मेरे पावन जल को प्लास्टिक की बोतलों में बिकते देखा है। मेरे फूलों को मरते देखा है। मैंने सब कुछ होते देखा है। मैंने मेरी दी गई दानों का गलत इस्तेमाल होते देखा है। मैं धरती, मैंने सब कुछ होते देखा है। मैंने सब कुछ होते देखा है। अब मनुष्य धरती से अपने कुछ शब्दों को कहलाते हुए हम अब गौरव को स्टेज पे बुलाना चाहेंगे।
भूमि धरती भूधरा तेरे हैं ये कितने नाम, तू थी रंग बिरंगी फल फूलों सी हरी भरी, तू थी रंग बिरंगी फल हमने तेरा रंग है छीना, हमने तेरे रूप है छीने। क्यों विनाश की ओर अग्रसर अपने अस्तित्व को मिटा रहे हैं। आखिर कब हम चेतेंगे, आखिर कब हम चेतेंगे। जब धरती हो जाएगी शून्य विलीन, नहीं रहेगा हमारा इस धरती पर अस्तित्व और हम हो जाएंगे अस्तित्व विहीन।
अब मानव है जाग गया, अब मानव है जाग गया। हमने तुझसे ये वादा किया, अब ना जंगल काटेंगे, नदियों को साफ रखेंगे। खनन हनन वो पॉलिथीन को अब दूर करेंगे। प्रकृति का अब हम ख्याल रखेंगे, प्रकृति का अब हम ख्याल रखेंगे। Every day is Earth Day. What would Earth be without her thriving oceans, living creatures, clean air and rich land? Can you lend a hand? Every day is Earth Day. Reuse, reduce, recycle and see. The Earth needs you to change your ways month by month and day by day. When you see litter in the streets and the air smells of pollution, when you feel like it's all piling up, remember, there is a solution, there is a solution. There's something each one of us can do to keep the earth clean, to keep fresh air that we can breathe and keep the forest green. Recycle bottles and cans, learn about the problems we face and help others understand. It does not have to be a lot if each one of us just do our share. This Earth Day, take out some time for our Mother Earth to show the care, to show the care. And happy National Earth Day to all of you. Happy World Earth Day. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, what an amazing performance it was. I hope everyone sitting over here will follow the message provided by our drama team. A big round of applause for them. कितना सुंदर संसार अपना, कितना सुंदर संसार अपना, ऋतुओं की है यहाँ बहार, ऋतुओं की है यहाँ बहार, प्रकृति की ये है अनुपम उपहार, प्रकृति की ये है अनुपम उपहार. Keeping this message in our mind now, I would like to invite our chief guest, Professor R.K. Sinha sir, Honourable Vice Chancellor of GBU, to kindly come on stage and enlighten us with his precious words.
Sir has done his BTech from IIT Kharagpur in 1984. He did his PhD in fiber optics and optical communication from IIT Delhi in year 1990s. He has done many research during his posting in Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore in 1991. Prior to this, he has been working at Birla Institute of Technology and Science, Pilani, NIT Hamirpur, Delhi College of Engineering, Delhi Technical University. Apart from this, he has also served as a director in CSIR. So we are so privileged that you are here, sir, today on this occasion of Earth Day. We all welcome you from the bottom of our heart. Thank you, sir.
So, good afternoon to you all. First of all, I congratulate to you all for organizing this function for celebrating the World Earth Day. It is the collective responsibility for all of us to preserve the earth, maintain the harmony with the nature for ourselves and for our future generations. I am indeed grateful to the Director Bajaj Institute for inviting me to this beautiful campus. I am also grateful to the distinguished professors of this institute, students, organizing team, and young promoter of the institute. I mean, promoting an institute is also a gigantic task, and transferring them a culture which is sensitive to our Indian culture is a future for us. I mean, celebrating the Earth Day and making us aware about the degradation we have caused. It is none, we can't blame others. In the race of development, in the race of economic development, we have created this situation. So who will solve this problem? The problem will be solved by us. I am a more or less a technology developer. My background is like that I do develop technologies for the use of the human beings, many of them. And throughout my career, I have been doing this. And therefore, I take a conclusion that what problem that technology has created to the earth and to the humanity, the technology only will be solving the problem. Technology only will be solving the problem. Imagine we were using the electric bulbs, heavy amount of the electricity was consumed, normal electric bulb. Okay, and why I'm saying electricity generation causes too much of a degradation on the earth in the atmosphere. You all know we were doing more of the coal-based, thermal energy-based generation of electricity, and we were using. So what we did, as a human being, as conscious human being, we developed several technologies which consumes less amount of electric energy. You must have been using a LED. This was not abruptly used 10 years back. Today you are using it. many of the light emitting devices, they use less amount of electricity. So electricity generation has caused the degradation of the environment to the natural resources, but this development of the technology for generating electricity has caused the degradation, but now we are developing another technology to stop that degradation. So I always believe what problem the technology generation has created is the technology that will be solving the problem. Okay, and therefore as an institution for engineering and technology, you must develop technologies so that what harm effect or the effects which is degrading the atmosphere, degrading our natural resources should be converted back. Okay, otherwise living conditions will be different. I was amazed to listen the lecture by distinguished scientist Dr. Trilochan Singh, which you have selected or chosen very right person on the Earth's Day. He has given you a full version of the problems created and natural resource management initiatives being taken by the human being. This was a very, indeed, many good effort. He has shown that the water is contemplating. I mean, degraded, pollution is there. Water is no longer drinkable. Yes, we have created in the race of becoming a rich, economically rich power. Okay, we have created many industries. Now we require the technology to develop. I have worked on a very severe, several technologies, how to reduce or even how to detect the arsenic and fluoride in a water content. My background is more of an optics. Few years back, we have developed an optical techniques to detect the fluoride. Okay, like in a normal drinking water, if you launch a light, UV light, okay, of 280 or something nanometer, now I'm forgetting, its absorption is proportional to the fluoride content. Okay, I'm saying this because technologies are also required to be developed in non-invasive technology. You should not add in drinking water something and then predict the pollution. Okay, so we require to develop certain technologies which have created the troublesome situation on the earth. So as in institutions of engineering and technology, that is our responsibility. Coming back to listening the plays of and the different versions of these students, indeed I got amazed. Very rightly they have selected the topic in very coordinated manner they have presented the drama. So I congratulate them also. Let this culture should continue. That will make our generations aware about environment effects. How to keep a good and beautiful atmosphere. Our distinguished scientist has given that the Japan is maintaining the natural resources and at the same time becoming the economic superpower. Okay. I had fortunately stayed 2 years of my career in that country, and really they train their citizens in that. Each school in Japan has a half an hour time for the cleaning when they sit there. Is there in curriculum. I joined there as a postdoctoral student, and after 2-3 days the technical staff told me that today we have to clean the windows and all. Person coming from an IIT background and going in abroad, and he feels that this is not my job to clean the windows and all. And I had to think that, and really I participated with them to cleaning the job. The sitting place assigned for me on that day. This is our cleaning day, so today we have to clean all. Okay. So these are in the culture. So as a citizen, as a conscious citizen, as an organization, we need to impart this type of a culture to our generations. And this type of organizing function has that motivation to
to the organizer as well as who are sitting and listening them. Okay? If that's continued, it will serve the purpose of that. Distinguished scientists have shown me the elephant that is also getting to this extinct. You must have seen there is a many a times accident happen in a wildlife situation when the train is passing, many of the elephants, they pass through and it gets killed. I was involved in developing a technology which relates with the earthquake in general. And it is installed in a Rajaji National Park in Dehradun near Uttarakhand area. That is an automatic technology. If the elephant is approaching to the railway track, the signal will be given to the driver of the locomotive so that he should take care. It was tested, tried, indigenously developed by the scientist. Okay? And it is not a very costly technology which we have done. You all must be using the Delhi Metro.
Yes.
Okay? In Delhi Metro, I came here after working 5 years in Central Scientific Instruments Organization. My first assignment was there. Let me tell you, that is not my knowledge, I was mentoring my scientists to develop a technology so that earthquake occurrence should be notified as early as possible in Delhi Metro. So we have developed a technology, installed. It is named as a early earthquake warning system. Okay, that is whenever earthquake comes, we have installed the network of sensors for the layman. They talk one sensor to another. That is in the layman terms I am saying is those who are computer science specialists. They may say that I am speaking in a too elementary language, but I am doing so. So they speak. So whenever the earthquake comes in Delhi Metro in 2016, this technology was installed, developed by us, completely Indian effort. Only Japan is the #1 country doing in this area. That is, earthquake comes, then 3 stations stop, and our algorithm is designed in such a manner that it notifies the central command of Delhi Metro that earthquake has come. And it is successfully working. Even the scientists have taken the maintenance contract. That is, you have to maintain that instrument every time to work. This is because in our country, if something does not work, the blame will go to the lab, not the one who is operating. कि आपका technology काम नहीं कर रहा है ना? And it will be coming into the newspaper. तो हम लोगों ने उस समय सोचा कि नहीं, ये मेंटेनेंस भी हम ही करेंगे, क्योंकि उसमें कई जीपीएस सिस्टम लगे हैं और को मेट्रो एम्प्लॉइज उतना ध्यान नहीं देंगे, और उनका ध्यान है कि हम कैसे बाहर से टेक्नोलॉजी लाएं. As a scientist, as a technologist, our job is to develop technologies in India. And the same technology we have used for earthquake, elephant crossing system, elephant movement prediction system. Same technology. Basically, it is based on the seismic wave monitoring. Okay, so and we are using this technology in our defense border also. That is, when a truck is coming, or a tank is coming, or a cycle is coming, different type of seismic waves are generated that we convert into the electrical field, and then alert those who are using it. So, with all this construction and all, we have really created a tough life for the animals and the many species. So our responsibility is there that we should work on developing such technology, first of all, that should use less amount of a natural resource. And even if we have used it, crossed it, how we should make another one so that it should be less used. Like solar energy is another one in the renewable sector, isn't it? From the nature is giving you the solar energy, and you are creating the energy out of that, electrical energy out of that. So that is a way to conserve the misuse, what we have used as a coal for generating the coal and thereby the air pollution through for the electric power generation. So all these efforts human beings are doing, what we have destroyed it. Isn't it? So the technology which has created the problem, so who will solve? Only the technology will solve the problem. I believe on this, okay, and therefore I look for an opportunity to work for developing the technology, and I expect the younger generations also that they should develop such technology which should use less amount of the natural resource, and how to do that. Okay, once in 2-3 years back, I had given a talk somewhere. What will be the new technologies developed in the, let's say, late 20 years or 10 years later? So I just remember here, because many reference of the water was there. So generating water from the air, okay, like to click it and from the air, humidity से हम water content generate करेंगे, जो humidity के रूप में आए. And I have given this challenge to the scientists to work for that. Collective New Year lecture by the director to the scientist. One of these technologies, there were many technologies. And then I came to know there are many companies, they have opened in that year only, that is generating the water out of the air where the humidity is more. Okay? So sometimes you think beyond and you find that that has been realized many places. Okay? So we need to work for that. I'm thankful to the organizer who have invited me, and thankful to the persons, I mean, student. Normally I consider them impatient there, they are, but still they are sitting in the last benches also. So that is a point that excites the speakers also, that you are hearing. Okay, so that is a good way. For example, I will give you some example, 2-3 examples. जैसे अच्छा टीचर कौन होता है क्लास, गुड टीचर. ओके, इसको हम मैग्नेटिक मटेरियल्स मेक करते हैं. जैसे फेरोमैग्नेटिक मटेरियल पढ़े होंगे, उसमें क्या होता है, मैग्नेटिक फील्ड अट्रैक्ट हो जाता है ना. तो टीचर को फेरोमैग्नेटिक टाइप में होना चाहिए. कुछ टीचर हैं क्लास में आते हैं वो भाग जाते हैं लड़की, वो डायामैग्नेटिक टाइप के है ना. कुछ हैं कि नॉर्मल काम करते हैं, वो पैरामैग्नेटिक है ना. तो हम कई बार क्लासिफाई करते हैं टीचर्स की, फेरोमैग्नेटिक वाले हैं या पैरामैग्नेटिक हैं और डायामैग्नेटिक है, वो भाग जाते हैं. बट आई ऑल्सो गिव देम अ लेक्चर दैट इन ए क्लास टीचर इज लाइक ए मैग्नेटिक फील्ड, जिसको एच कहते हैं, और एच मैग्नेटिक फील्ड, और उसमें कोई मैग्नेटिक मटेरियल रखोगे तो मैग्नेटाइज होगा. We define that as a B. Often I ask the students and sometimes to the teachers, what is the difference between H and B? वो नहीं बता पाते, even a good and bright student. So H is independent and B is dependent on H, but B also depends on which material. कौन सा मटेरियल. यदि नॉन मैग्नेटिक मटेरियल रखोगे तो मैग्नेटाइज नहीं होगा, है ना. कॉपर रख दो एच के पास तो कुछ नहीं होगा उसको, है ना, मैग्नेटाइज नहीं होगा. तो एक अच्छा टीचर, और एक टीचर को आप एच मान सकते हैं और स्टूडेंट्स आर बी. तो आप कैसे मटेरियल हैं और कितना मैग्नेटाइज होगा, ये टीचर से फिर तो डिपेंड करता है, आपके ऊपर भी डिपेंड करता है व्हाट टाइप ऑफ ए मैग्नेटिक मटेरियल यू आर. ओके, सो इन ऑर्डर टू गेट मैक्सिमाइज द एफर्ट, you require a good teacher, you require attentive students and those who listen you properly. Okay, ये भी जरूरत है ना, out of the performance. So if a management looks out that who is the best teacher, which class is running well, okay, so for that you require to create a good magnetic field, independent magnetic field in terms of a teacher. And टीचर का परफॉर्मेंस अच्छा होगा, बुरा होगा, कैसा होगा, ये स्टूडेंट्स पे भी डिपेंड करता है. सपोज इफ ए टीचर कम्स, यू आर सिटिंग इन a very nice and calm atmosphere, looking him, he will teach you better. the effect of that teaching will be better. But if you create a noise and unnecessary, then even a good teacher's performance will be deteriorated. So with this, I have given you two technological definition. The difference between H and B, दोनों का यूनिट अलग होता है ना? H और B को मल्टीप्लाई कर दोगे तो एनर्जी पर यूनिट वॉल्यूम हो जाता है ना? जैसे B का यूनिट क्या है? वेबर पर मीटर स्क्वायर. वेबर इज द नेम ऑफ ए साइंटिस्ट. एंड H का यूनिट है हेनरी पर मीटर. सो वेबर और हेनरी को मल्टीप्लाई करोगे तो जूल पर मीटर क्यूब हो जाता है. इट इज लाइक दैट टू साइंटिस्ट वेबर एंड हेनरी को मल्टीप्लाई कर रहे हैं तो जूल बन गया. तीनों का नाम साइंटिस्ट. बट आई होप
one question. You have discussed about pH. But there is a loss also.
Yeah, there is a loss. Hysteresis loss is there. तो वो hysteresis loss minimize करने के लिए क्या है कि आप जो है H से कितना जिसने जो भी डेवलप ही नहीं हो रहा है, माने एक एरिया को जीरो कर दीजिए तब होगा. But there will always be a loss.
इटरेटिवली आपको कैलकुलेट करना पड़ेगा, सिमुलेट करना पड़ेगा, such that it will give optimal value.
Saturation.
Yeah. So that loss is referred as a joule per meter. आप जो 12th क्लास में लड़के हैं या फर्स्ट ईयर में जो लड़के हैं हिस्टेरेसिस लूप का एक्सपेरिमेंट करते हैं, है ना? तो pH में वो एरिया जो है कितना लॉस पर मीटर क्यूब है. बट ये है जो मैग्नेटिक नहीं हो रहा है उसके लिए आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते, है ना? सो आई कंसीडर ऑल द स्टूडेंट्स हु हैव कम हियर इन ए क्लास, दे आर ऑल मैग्नेटिक. ओके, उसमें से कोई बहुत अच्छा हो जाएगा, एक का कम रिस्पांस रहेगा. दिस इज आई एम जस्ट कोरिलेटिंग विद द बेसिक फिजिक्स. दैट इज माय बैकग्राउंड. ओके, so I hope such type of organizations of the workshop, conferences, awareness program gives a insight to the students, as well as it also imparts the management skill to the students, how to organize a function. Because ultimately you have to do in your life whatever you have studied, be it your sister's marriage, be it in your job where you are joining, many functions you have to organize. Nobody can say that he will be, without organizing he will complete the life. Somewhere you become the organizer. So this type of a training will indeed help the students, and also it will bring more visibility to the institute. So thank you very much for inviting me.
For teaching us, we can't blame others for the destruction that we cause, and how to preserve our Mother Earth, and telling us about your optical technical development. Technology can itself solve the problem that it created, and especially telling us about the relationship between magnetic property and the teachers. Thank you so much, sir.
And here, Aditi, I would like to add one more thing. As sir have told us that how we can acquire water from the humidity, sir, that was really innovative. And I think, sir, all the students sitting here, and definitely encourage them to go in the field of innovation as well, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
अब मैं जेएल बजाज फैमिली की तरफ से आप सभी को धन्यवाद बोलने एवं हमारे जो मेंटर मेंटी इंस्टीट्यूट हम सब से कनेक्टेड है लाइव यूट्यूब पे, उन सभी का धन्यवाद करने के लिए मैं डॉक्टर शशांक अवस्थी सर को स्टेज पे बुलाना चाहूंगी.
नमस्कार. इस सभागार में उपस्थित समस्त गुरुजन, डायरेक्टर साहब, कुलपति महोदय जी, एवं मैं खास तौर से धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करना चाहूँगा इस समारोह के ऑर्गेनाइजर्स को, जिन्होंने बड़ी बखूबी इस प्रोग्राम को अंजाम दिया है. विश्व पृथ्वी दिवस बड़ा अच्छा टॉपिक है, और इस तरीके के आयोजन अगर हमारे बीच होते रहेंगे तो निश्चित तौर पर उससे जागरूकता फैलेगी, जागरूकता हम पैदा करेंगे. होता क्या है कि जब भी हम इस तरीके के आयोजन करते हैं, मैं धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करने से पहले दो शब्द बोलना चाहूँगा कि जब भी हम इस तरीके के आयोजन करते हैं तो आयोजन करते वक्त हम बड़ी तन्मयता के साथ, बड़ी लीनता के साथ उस आयोजन को देखते हैं, और फिर हम जब जैसे ही बाहर निकलते हैं सब कुछ भूल जाते हैं. ये आने वाली जनरेशन है, आने वाली पीढ़ी है, ये इंजीनियर्स हैं, ये इनको तकनीकी भी पता है और देश का स्वरूप भी पता है, और प्रकृति की महत्ता भी पता है। मैं इन इंजीनियर से आग्रह करता हूं कि जब भी आपको कभी पृथ्वी के साथ कोई भी छेड़छाड़ करने का वो मन हो, कभी आपको प्रदूषण फैलाने का मन हो, सिर्फ एक बात सोचिएगा, पृथ्वी हमारी माता है। क्या हम अपनी माता के साथ ये सब करते हैं? नहीं करते। हम सब कुछ जैसे हम कुछ भी करने चले तुरंत अपनी माँ का चेहरा अपने दिमाग में लाइए, फिर आप कोई भी काम ऐसा नहीं करेंगे। तकनीकी, जहां तक तकनीकी की बात है, इंजीनियरिंग की बात है, टेक्नोलॉजी की बात है, टेक्नोलॉजी ही जितने भी प्रदूषण हो रहे हैं इसके फायदे हैं टेक्नोलॉजी के और इसके दुष्परिणाम भी हैं। उस दुष्परिणाम को हम कैसे मैनेज करेंगे, कैसे उसको मिनिमाइज करेंगे, ये जिम्मेदारी हमारे आने वाले पीढ़ियों पर है, आने वाले इंजीनियर्स पर है। अब मैं धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करता हूं, मैं तहे दिल से धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करता हूं श्री डॉक्टर आर.के. सिंह जी का, कुलपति गौतम बुद्ध विश्वविद्यालय जी का। मैंने अभी देखा सर कितनी अच्छे से बता रहे थे कि शिक्षक की क्या होनी चाहिए, क्या क्वालिटीज होनी चाहिए। निश्चित तौर पर आपने जो बताया हम उस मार्गदर्शन का पालन करेंगे और आपके शब्दों को पूर्ण हम अपने अंदर ढालने का प्रयास करेंगे। हम धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करते हैं श्री त्रिलोचन सिंह जी का, अर्थ साइंटिस्ट का, कि उन्होंने इतनी अच्छी तरीके से कैसे हम अर्थ को सेव करें, कैसे इसको बचाएं, उसके लिए हमें अभिसिंचित किया, आपने प्यार से अभिसिंचित किया, आपने अपने व्याख्यान से अभिसिंचित किया। मैं धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करता हूँ लीला प्रमोटर संस्थान के श्री कार्तिकेय अग्रवाल जी का, कि उन्होंने अपना बहुमूल्य समय हम लोगों को दिया। मैं धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करता हूँ श्री राजीव अग्रवाल जी, निदेशक जीएम बजाज संस्थान के, जो कि इतने डायनामिक और यंग डायरेक्टर हैं, जिनके इसमें हम ये संस्थान निश्चित रूप से आगे बढ़ रहा है और आगे बढ़ता रहेगा। मैं धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करता हूँ श्री सुशील कुमार जी का, प्रोफेसर GBU यूनिवर्सिटी से। मैं धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करता हूँ समस्त हेड ऑफ द डिपार्टमेंट्स का, और मैं धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करता हूँ अपने गुरु श्री सान्याल जी का, कि वो आए और उन्होंने अपना बहुमूल्य समय दिया। मैं सभी लोगों का हार्दिक धन्यवाद करता हूँ। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would request all the students to kindly wait for the oath ceremony. This very Earth Day, let's take some oath that will protect our Mother Earth. Okay. The first oath is, I will plant more than one trees every year and I will also take care of it. Yes, I will plant more than one trees every year and I will also take care of it. Yes, I will do it. Sure, sir. Second oath.
I will not use plastic and will not burn it.
Third oath. I will not waste the natural resources like electricity, petrol, etc.
I will reduce the use of equipments that will generate pollution.
Fifth one. I will make my lifestyle environment friendly. Thank you so much for the oath, and I hope that we all will gonna follow this year. A very happy World Earth Day to all.
धरती के श्रृंगार है पेड़, जीवन का आधार है पेड़, जंगल के परिवार है पेड़, पक्षी का घर बार है पेड़, धरती